All right, welcome. If you've ever been the slightest bit curious about programming but had no idea where to even start, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're kicking off an adventure into the world of code, and our guide for this whole journey is going to be one of the most popular programming languages on the entire planet, Python.
So let's just start with a simple question. Have you ever faced a problem that was just, too big to solve in your head? We all have. Our brains are absolutely amazing, but they're just not built to handle certain kinds of tasks at lightning speed.
For example, a multiplication problem like this one. Could you do it? Yeah, for sure, if you had some time and a piece of paper. But a computer, it does it instantly. And that is our call to adventure, finding a way to give computers these kinds of instructions. We need a shared language.
And that's exactly what a programming language is. Just like you might speak English or Spanish with a friend, we use programming languages like Python, C++, or Java to talk to computers. It's the bridge that lets us hand them a set of instructions to get a task done for us. Simple as that.
Okay, so for our journey, we've chosen a very specific guide, Python. It's famous for being friendly, super powerful, and yeah, it has a kind of funny name. But where did this language even come from?
Let's rewind the clock a bit. Our story starts back in 1989 with a Dutch programmer named Guido van Rossum, and by 1991, he had released the very first version of Python out into the world.
And believe it or not, Guido wasn't on some grand corporate mission. He was literally just looking for a hobby project to keep him busy over Christmas. As for the name, well, he was a huge fan of the comedy show Monty Python's Flying Circus and wanted something short, unique, and just a little mysterious. And just like that, Python was born.
So, we've met our guide. Now it's time to gear up. What are Python's superpowers? Why is this the language that so many people recommend when you're just starting your coding adventure?
Well, Python's strengths are really what make it so incredibly popular. First, its syntax is clean. It's almost like reading plain English. It's also open source, which just means it's completely free to use. But for a beginner, this next one is a lifesaver, the huge community. It's like joining a massive club of fellow adventurers. If you get stuck, I promise you, someone has probably solved your exact problem already. Plus, its giant collection of pre-written code, called libraries, are like having a bunch of spell books. You're not constantly reinventing the wheel.
Let me make this a little more concrete for you. To get Hello World to show up on the screen in Python, you just type print Hello World. That's it, one line. In some other languages, that same simple task can take 3, 4, even 5 lines of really complex-looking code. And when you're just starting out, that efficiency makes a huge difference. Less to type, less to remember, and way fewer chances for mistakes.
Okay, so every great adventure needs a map, right? The journey to becoming a coder can seem a little intimidating, but with Python, we can break it all down into a really clear, manageable 5-step quest.
Our map starts with the absolute basics, learning how to store information and use fundamental tools. From there, you learn how to control the flow of your quest, telling your program when to make decisions or repeat actions. Next, you'll figure out how to organize all your treasures, your data, into powerful structures like lists. Then, you'll learn to think in objects, which is a key skill for building bigger, more complex worlds. And finally, you'll prepare for the unexpected by learning how to handle errors gracefully. See, each step on the map just builds logically right on top of the last one.
So that's the map. But what about the destination? What's the treasure at the end of this whole quest? Let's take a look at the incredible, real-world things you can actually build once you've got these skills down. Python isn't just for learning. It is a professional tool that powers huge industries. In web development, you've got frameworks like Django and Flask that act like architectural blueprints for building websites. For data science, libraries like Pandas and NumPy are the absolute gold standard for analyzing information. And in the explosive field of AI and machine learning, tools like TensorFlow and scikit-learn are completely essential.
And who's using these tools? Oh, just some of the biggest names in tech. We're talking Google, Netflix, even NASA. They all rely on Python every single day. So what that means for you is that the skills you're learning are the exact same skills being used at the highest levels of the industry. Pretty cool.
So, here we are. You've seen the path, you know the tools, and you've gotten a glimpse of the incredible destinations you can reach. The only question left is the one that every adventurer has to answer for themselves. Where is your journey going to take you? What will you build first?